Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. It's a beautiful autumn afternoon here and it's really nice sitting in my craft room just looking at the beautiful leaves. And so I want to show you something that I actually made with beautiful leaves. I used this Love of Leaves stamp set and I belong to a group of Stampin' Up demonstrators who are called orphan demonstrators. We don't have an upline, and so every now and then the Canadians all get together. Anybody who doesn't have an upline gets together and we have video meetings, like Zoom meetings, and we've been making cards. And the challenge for this month was to use a sketch card, and this is the sketch that we all got. It was printed really nicely. It wasn't drawn with a pencil on a scruffy piece of paper like mine. It's just this is what I took from the picture on the computer. And it's a really simple layout, but one that you can have lots of fun with. And I decided that yes, it has to be rectangular, has to be portrait. It's got a layer here that could be embossed card or designer series paper or another colour of card, some kind of ribbon and a circle. And so this is what I came up with for my card. And you can see it's got the second layer here, which was this rectangle. It's got my circle, it's got my ribbon, the little bow, and I've added just a few other little bits. I added some embellishments and a leaf, and that was all. And I want to show you how I made this, but I'm going to change it up even more. And the great thing about sketches is if you don't have sort of an idea of what you want to make one day, you look at some sketches and there's your base point, there's your jumping off point. You don't have to even design much because somebody else has done all the hard work for you by making this sketch. And you can change it just however you want. When I looked at what the other demonstrators had come up with, they had some fantastic ideas. Nothing looked like mine, and nothing really just looked like this. Everybody had added something different. So my card that we're making today for this sketch is, again, I'm using the Love of Leaves, and I'm using this designer series paper, which is the Gilded Autumn one. And in this set, I do also have the dies, and I'm using the dies for this leaf. But if you only have the stamp sets, they're really easy stamp shapes to cut out. You don't have to have dies for anything. You can always fussy cut. So I've actually already done my stamping and I've die cut the leaves that I want. And because the card that I'm going to make only took a tiny little bit of designer series paper, actually I just used scraps. Let me show you. This is the paper, and I've got lots of little pieces, and all I did was I chose one of my little pieces, cut it down and use that. And if I ever do any stamping or any die cutting, I always put the extra pieces either in the stamp box or in with the designer series paper, and that way I know I've got everything all together. And for a day when I'm not quite sure what I'm going to make, and I'm maybe doing a sketch or just seeing what bits I've got, this is a great way to keep everything. Okay, so let me just check that my phone isn't ringing and showing on the phone, because my phone is actually ringing, so I wasn't sure. So I've started off with just a basic 8.5 by 5.5 piece of thick Whisper White, scored it at 4 1/4, and that's going to be my layer, my base I mean. And then I'm going to have an extra layer on the front. You can see here where it was just designer series paper. I want to have a backing layer as well. So I've chosen one of the pieces from the designer series paper and Early Espresso. And you can see that this already has a circle cut out, and that's because I didn't want to waste another piece of card. Nobody's going to see this card, so you know, why not just cut out what you need, because that's going to cover it over quite nicely. I'm going to attach those two pieces, and let me see where I've put my stamp and seal. There we go. And I'm just going to put this onto that early espresso layer. Now, if you didn't want to use designer series paper, you could just use another piece of card, or just one piece of card. You could emboss a piece. There's lots of different things that you could do. You could stamp a background using, you know, your stamps and different colour inks. You really don't have to have just the same pieces that I'm using. Okay. I'm not going to attach this to the base yet because I want to put my ribbon on first. And I've got this beautiful faux suede in the early espresso, and it does feel like suede. It's sort of a soft ribbon, and it sort of ties really fast and easy. It's quite thick, and it goes with the World of Good suite. But of course, you know Stampin' Up, you can use anything with anything. Everything matches. And I've cheated a little bit. I had a little tiny piece of ribbon like this, and that's what I'm going to use to go over my designer series paper like this. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a little bit of snail. No, it's not snail anymore, Diane. It's Stampin' Seal. Same stuff. Same stuff. It just reminds me. It's actually a bit stronger than I remember snail being, and you know, it doesn't pop off the card or anything. I do quite like the Stampin' Seal. Okay, and that's it. That's as much of that as you need. Okay, now we can attach that on here. And if you wanted, you could put that on dimensionals and have it popped off a little bit. I'm just going to attach mine with my adhesive. You can use any of the adhesives that you want. Now you could use a tear and tape or the liquid glue. Really is up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with and whatever works for you. Okay, so there's the base of our sketch made. Now the next thing is my sentiment, and you can see on this one I chose the "Your friendship is something I know I can count on," but today's I wanted to make using this sentiment, the "I thought of you today," because as most of you know, I have a challenge for myself. I'm sending my dad in the UK a card every single week, and I think of him all the time, and I just think that little sentiment, it just summed up what I was doing today. So all you need to do, you can see I've already started practicing what I need. I've got the early espresso, and I'm just going to stamp this. Nothing special. I'm just going to hold it down for a few seconds. I'm not putting any pressure on. I'm just holding it down so that the ink transfers onto the card. And then you could cut these circles out with your layering circles. I'm actually using some of my punches. I've got my 2.5 and my 2 1/4, which will make the circles just a bit smaller than this. After I'd finished this, I wished I'd made it a little bit smaller because I wanted to see a bit more of the ribbon. So I'm using the smaller one for this, and I want to keep that near the bottom right. I don't want it right at the bottom. I just want to be able to see, I'm just going to take a little bit off actually. I just want to be able to see it at the bottom, but not, you know, not squashed down at the bottom. I just want it to go a little bit lower than that. That's perfect. See, and I want it to be at this bottom right. Okay. And then you already know that I cut the piece off this early espresso card, and that was the 2.5 inch piece. So I've got that here, and I'm going to attach the two pieces. And I just like having that sentiment just a little bit offset. I think it makes it look quite nice. Okay, I've got some dimensionals, and I'm going to put my dimensionals on the back, and I'm going to put them at the top and the bottom of the piece of card so that it's not sticking onto this ribbon, but it's just holding the ribbon down. Okay, take these back-ends off. And you You could have it right in the middle, you could have it a little bit offset, one way or another. I'm going to put it, I think I'm going to put it right in the middle on this one. Okay, and then I've also tied just a little bow, and it really is a teeny weeny bow, but it's just the right size to go on here. Okay, and I'm going to attach that with a glue dot because I find that's the best way to keep ribbon stuck down. I'm looking to see which side I like best, and when I tie my bows, I know I like this flat piece here to be on the front, not the knotty piece. Some people seem to be able to tie ribbons and they don't get that knotty piece at the back, so I know it's something to do with the way I tie them, but I do know which way I want them to be. Now you could have your ribbon going this way, and that looks really nice too. It does look really nice actually. I'm going to do that. Let's put it on that way. Just make sure those little glue dots are stuck down onto the ribbon. Yeah, I do like it that way. See, you change your mind while you're designing things and as you go along, and that's perfectly fine. Now, I have two of the leaves already cut out, and this is from the burnished metal foil pack, and there's actually 3 colours of the metallic card, and it is so nice. It's not sort of glossy shiny where you can see a reflection. It looks like it's sort of got lines through it, so it looks like a burnished metal. And I want my leaf to go on, and I didn't actually know which colour I was going to choose. I like them both, but I do like this darker one, and because it's for my dad, I think I'm going to go with the darker one. And I'm going to put dimensionals under these leaves here that are on the DSP. But here, where it's on the card, I'm only going to use either my stamping seal or I might use my liquid glue, and then if I need to move it around a little bit, I've got time. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 dimensionals on the ends of those leaves. Take those backings off. And then I'm going to put, oh, this feels like it might be a bit empty. Got some in. Yeah, I'm just going to scribble a little bit of glue on there and then see how I'm going to have it. I'm going to have it going that way. And that way my leaf is flat. Because this piece was on dimensionals and raised up, I want this part of the leaves to be raised up as well, so that they don't get bent or squished. Okay, and then the last thing I need are 3 little embellishments of some kind. And I know that I've got these gilded gems, but now that I've chosen that darker, what is it called? Foiled card, the metallic card, that gold won't really match. So I'm going to use some of my pearls, and I have already coloured some just in case. I've got my Cajun Craze, which is this colour ink here, and I'm just going over, just going to colour them in. It takes a few minutes for them to dry, and sometimes what I've done is after it's dried I will put another layer on if I need it to show up a little bit darker. And let's just see where my pokey tool is. I don't know, so let's use this. Let's see. Okay, and I'm going to get the 3 that I've already done, and I want to put 2 over here again. This would be really quite nice for a get well card, just because it says I thought of you today. It would be nice for anything actually, but a get well card would be really pretty with it. Oh, I don't want that little white one. You'll have to go back. And I could put it up here, but I'm actually going to put it on this one, so it shows up on the white card and I can see it. Right. As you can see, the first one, I have them here and over here, but I just want it on there today. Oh, let's move that little pearl. Thank keeps jumping off the pearls there. And so there we are. That's the card that I made from my sketch. Doesn't look much like that now, does it? But it is still the bare bones of that sketch. And here's the one that I made originally. So have a go with this sketch. If you do get a chance to make something with it, pop a picture on either the Facebook group or the YouTube or my blog, wherever you're watching from, and show us what you made with it too. Thanks ever so much for watching me, everybody. I'll see you all again really soon. Take care. Bye-bye.